political advisor, Rina Shah. Thanks so much for coming on the program. Now, Rina, you describe yourself on Twitter with the quote, as a lifelong Republican, I am proud to support Joe Biden for president. What made you switch?
You know, truly, I was concerned about President Trump when he announced his candidacy. I, at that time, felt that he was not a conservative. He would not know what the Republican Party really stood for. And he was really using it as a platform to just advance himself. And everything that I predicted back then has come true. What I feared and what was most dangerous about this president, truly the way in which he conducts himself, his behavior, I think what we've seen over the past 4 years is that it's had deadly consequences. Today, we have over 230,000 of my fellow Americans dead from this novel coronavirus. And this president continues to go around the country holding rallies against the advice of experts. And I think it's a perfect depiction of just how unfit he is for office. So when I saw Joe Biden announce his candidacy, I saw an opportunity for our country to elect a man to our highest post. And of course, I would have loved it if it were a female candidate that could have emerged from the Democratic primary. But Joe Biden really stands for decency, and he's a dignified American man with an incredible track record. So that is really what made the choice easy for me.
And you're the founder of Republican Women for Joe Biden. What do these defections mean for the Republican Party?
Well, it means that the party continues to go down a track of being as unhealthy as it's been over the past many years. There was an infamous 2012 autopsy report done in the wake of Mitt Romney's loss, and there was a sense amongst Republican operatives, at least, that the party would start to take seriously the many new demographics of Americans, new Americans who are comprising more of our country. As each election cycle goes by, we see how America has changed demographically. The Republican Party hasn't kept up with that. They haven't figured out a way to properly message to these new Americans and tell them that the Republican Party is a home for their values. I, of course, have been a very long time fiscal conservative. Socially, I'm not as conservative as many in the Republican Party, but I have always believed in a big tent party. What I've seen from this party is a lack of commitment to expanding the tent. And so that's what I think we see full on display today is people saying that it's about my country over party right now. The person who is entrusted with leading us in a time of such great national crisis cannot seem to act like a leader, cannot seem to behave in a manner that seems logical. And so that's where I think the defections are coming most from. And I think they're coming from Republican women, women like myself, who have young children, who have, for months on end have been laboring through this pandemic in an unusual way, figuring out how to do our work on the daily while virtual schooling our children with no end in sight. So that's what I think has fully led to what will be many more defections this year than we saw in 2016.
And Joe Biden has, he's leading in the polls right now, but do you think he's done enough, especially when it comes to those crucial swing states?
I think he hasn't left anything on the table. He's pulled out all the stops, and I think he's done more than enough. I think what anybody could do in this pandemic is campaign safely, do it in a manner that's responsible and shows empathy for others, those who are at greatest risk. And we know those to be older Americans, not people in my age demographic, which is millennials between the ages of 25 and 39. We can see in Joe Biden and in Kamala Harris at least a respect for their fellow man. What Trump does is hold super spreader rallies. It's no joke, and he treats it as if it's one. So what I see in Biden is at least really somebody who has a respect for their fellow man as well as science. So he's really done it all as best as one could during this pandemic. What will happen tonight will be a result of what really people are willing to go for. Are people willing to say that my tax cuts or supposedly Trump tax cuts are worth everything else he's giving us? I personally am willing to pay a little bit more tax if it means that I will be more assured that my country will not face the chaos that it's currently in. But we should also be very clear and say that Joe Biden's been over the top and in reassuring folks about the fact that he will not raise taxes on Americans who make more than $400,000 a year. It is a very small percentage of Americans who make that much. So again, I'm willing to do whatever is necessary so that my country will no longer be in the moment it's in, which is in two pandemics.
Political advisor Rina Shah, thank you so much for speaking to us on TRT World on Election Day.